Welcome to the China Influencer Marketing Podcast. Each week, we speak with top influencers, marketers, and brands who share their experiences, strategies, and tactics for influencer marketing in China. Here's your host, Lauren Hallinan.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the China Influencer Marketing Podcast. In this episode, we chat with fashion lifestyle vlogger Adrianna Wang. A couple years ago, Adrianna started posting videos on the Chinese video sharing site Meipai, and now her channel called the Mulan Show has nearly 500,000 followers who live vicariously through her high-energy vlogs. What drew me to Adrianna was her unique style and outgoing personality. As I discovered during the interview, she first started her Meipai account while she was living and studying overseas in New York and Canada. So her aesthetic has been strongly influenced by YouTubers and by her time living abroad. She shares that studying the then more mature Western influencer economy gave her a leg up and helped her to be more strategic and professional when growing her own audience and working with brands back in China. Adrianna was an amazing guest. She shared so much information that I know will be valuable for you all. Adrianna attends a ton of events, and I ask her what her experience is like as an influencer at these events and what brands could be doing better. Besides this, we discuss some of the main differences between influencers in the West versus China. We also covered Chinese consumer behaviors and why brands should partner with an e-commerce platform rather than just translate their website into Chinese. She also shares why she thinks companies need to be doing more research into influencers and not rely solely on a PR agency to handle everything for them. And she also touches on why your company's local Chinese office might not be doing a good job either. I want to apologize ahead of time. The signal was not that great and the call dropped several times during the interview, so I had to edit everything all together, but you should be able to follow along with everything just fine. Before we start, I just want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsor, Parklu. Parklu is China's premier influencer marketing platform. Learn more at parklu.com. And now, on to our interview with Adrianna. Hi, Adrianna. Welcome to the China Influencer Marketing Podcast. I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel like I'm going to have so much fun talking to you.
Yeah. I am, as I said to you before we started recording, I am really interested in having you on because I think that from what I've seen, your content is a little bit different than some of the other like fashion influencers that I've seen in China. So I'm really interested to hear more about your story and who you are. So it would be great if you could just start off by telling us a little bit of your background story and how did you become a fashion influencer? What's the story?
Okay, the story behind it was really, I didn't plan this, really. So my friend was on Meipai, my main platform, and she sent me this video. She said, these girls are, their content is just trash. You would do so much better if you start to make videos. I'm like, actually, I'm not doing anything, so let me make some video. Back then, I was still living in Canada. I was in school, so I didn't have a lot of things to do. And before I moved to Canada, I was in New York. I was studying journalism, so I kind of know that I wanted to do something media related. I wanted to present myself. I like giving out speeches. I have been a very talkative person since I was really young. I'm confident with myself. So, being a blogger was kind of natural for me. I never had to learn to, talk to a camera, and, I was never embarrassed. So, yeah, and I had, some followers. I had some bloggers that I follow on YouTube and on Instagram, so I kind of know, the business side behind this. I kind of figured out how bloggers make money, how do you do everything, what type of content do you post to keep your followers happy. So that was kind of natural for me. I just started to make videos, and one of the big account on Meipai just reposted my video, like all of a sudden my follower went from 1 to 1,000 in like a couple of hours, and
Wow.
I got motivated, and I was like, let me just like really try to do this. So I was posting like 3 videos a day, and I did that for a week. My followers got to like 10,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and also because Meipai was such a new platform, and also it was like short video, so I was able to produce a lot of content a day.
When was this? What year was this?
It was 2016 in March.
Okay, so not too long ago.
No, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. Yeah, and I think like back then, my content was mainly focused on beauty. So because I follow a lot of beauty guru on YouTube, I kind of felt like it was easy for me to produce like beauty content because I don't need nobody. I just need a camera sitting up there, and I'll just do my makeup. I talk about makeup, and that, like it was really easy. So I was able to produce a lot of content to attract a lot of followers. But with time, I kind of got bored with it because there's only limited amount of content I can do with beauty. And I just started to explore other things, and I moved back to China because I really wanted to give it a go. Like I wanted to attend event, and I wanted to do to meet more people, and yeah, I kind of moved back to China. I got a job at Harper's Bazaar because I thought like in order to make my content different, I can go in with like a different point of view, sort of. So I worked with Harper's Bazaar for a while. It really opened up my eyes, and in terms of like editorial shooting, like and make a lot of connections through Harper's Bazaar as well. So like after I quit Harper's Bazaar, I kind of start traveling more. So that get me to film more travel content. And eventually I realized like there's so much things I can do in Beijing. So that's when I start to drift from travel to more like lifestyle in Beijing. So that's kind of got where I am today, from beauty to fashion to travel to lifestyle, sort of.
Okay, so now, because I think now your content is kind of all of those things combined. It's a little bit of everything, and you're doing a lot of vlogging. Is that right?
I would say that I mainly focus on lifestyle, but fashion is through everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like, of course, I'll always keep posting about my outfit details, and I'll keep posting like inspirational pictures of my outfit and stuff like that. But like, what's differentiate me from other fashion blogs is that I'm able to produce lifestyle content. Like I'm able to report events. I can vlog. I have a content in lifestyle, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just pictures of my outfit. I don't largely depend on like which clothing brand send me clothes, or like what clothing brand is like working with me, if that makes any sense.
Right. So it sounds like in the beginning you were really influenced by maybe more Western influencers.
Right.
So do you think that's still like, more the YouTubers, Instagrammers, do you think they've had a big influence on like your style and your type of content?
Definitely. The bloggers that I followed back in the days have a lot of influence on me. I would say because I used to live in New York, I used to live in Canada, I still have sort of to Chinese people, it's like a Western girl type of style, type of vibe. But I would say they mostly inspired me in terms of like what type of content you post. Like not so much be like, oh, I have to like put on eyelashes, or I have to put my eyeliner this way. So they inspired me sort of to like fall into their frame of blogging, if that make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because like blogging is so new. Like being a KOL is something so new in China. Like no one knows what they're doing. But like I kind of followed their direction as a Western bloggers. Like how do you work with brands? Like what do you do? Like you put out your business email on your Instagram, or like you put out something so a brand can reach you, and you tag the brand when you post something, you get as much as exposure when you post something. But that's different. It's also different in China, because when you do that too much on Weibo, they actually can block you. They can like sort of block your views, if that make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of difficulties, and there are differences definitely between the Western blogging world and here in China. But I would say, I took a lot of inspirations from the Western bloggers and vloggers. I still like check my favorite YouTubers once in a while, just to like see what type of content they're posting, and to get inspired as well.
Okay. I thought of a couple questions while you were saying all that. One of them is that you said, the KOL and influencer industry is very new in China, which I agree with you. I think a lot has happened over the past couple of years. It just kind of like came out of nowhere. So I'm really curious, from when you started to now, how do you think the industry has changed? Are there a lot more brands that are working with KOLs? Are a lot more people like knowledgeable about working with them? Like, how do you feel it since you began to now? How has it changed?
There's definitely more and more brands coming to China, and like more international brands are like noticing us Chinese KOLs. And when I first started, like most of the like sponsored videos, like brands, they would like come to me, like they would just DM me on the app, and most of the brands are like Chinese brands, and they don't have. I don't even think they're like legal, like legally. They cannot like just sell it on the market. They sell it through WeChat, and it's like you just can't tell. It's like nothing official, and like I don't really trust those things. I kind of hold on to taking sponsorship at the beginning, because I just felt like I don't want to give my followers like trash content.
Right.
This brand, but like I don't even know if this brand is actually good enough. And also because when I started, I was in Canada. Like a lot of Chinese brands, they cannot like reach me, because like the international delivery is just so high. When I first started, there were definitely less brand available on the market, like in terms of international brands. Like I think am I allowed to like say brand names specifically, or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So like in the past year and a half, I feel like Feel Unique really took off in China. They spent a lot of money on marketing and expanding their following.
Which brand?
But Feel Unique is a British brand. It's
okay.
a British website that sells makeup and cosmetic and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they really expanded their Chinese market in the past year or so. And before that, there wasn't like there wasn't something like that, like a foreign website that sells cosmetic and beauty stuff. And it was like over £60, you get free shipping from the UK. So that was something really new, and especially for me, like someone who kind of had this international vibe, because like before this happened, everyone shops on Taobao, like the Chinese eBay sort of. Like no one really goes down to like official websites to buy anything, because they just don't have this habit. But like in the past year or so, I can really feel there's so many international brands. These international brands are trying to teach Chinese consumer how easy and fast it actually is to shop overseas, like shop on a foreign website. And these websites are actually making shopping for Chinese people easier, because they're trying to have like Alipay or WeChat Pay, so they don't have to use like a credit card, because that's not part of the culture for Chinese people to use credit card online. They just don't think it's very safe. And also they try to have like Chinese on the website. They have the Chinese made completely in Chinese. They have the website made in completely in Chinese language. So it's so much easier for Chinese people not to shop, like nowadays to shop on these websites. But it's still not part of the culture. It's still like considered kind of strange to go on a foreign website and just shop on it. So I mean, it will take time, but I'm seeing this is like changing.
Do you think that like your followers and other Chinese people, do you think they still prefer like if the brand has a official store on like Taobao or JD or like a WeChat mini program store or something like that? Do you think they still prefer that over going to a website?
Yeah, for sure. They still prefer that, like prefer shop on like an official store on JD or Taobao over like going on a website to shop. Because I think like nowadays, my followers, they don't even like do anything on their laptop. They do everything on their phone. And it's still kind of strange for them to kind of shop on a website because it's so easy and convenient to shop on those apps like JD and Taobao. So
yeah, definitely.
I have a lot of people DM me saying that I really like the stuff that you share, but I don't know how to buy it, which gives me because really it's a foreign website, has like everything in Chinese. You just like, what do you want? How do you want me to teach you to buy something already in Chinese? I just don't know how I can like change the way they think, because really everything's in Chinese. All you have to do is try to figure out like how to add the card, how to pay, how to do that simple stuff. But they're like, I don't know how to buy it. Like, I clicked your link, but I don't know how to buy it.
Oh my God. Yeah, they're just, I know from living in China so long that you just get so used to of just being able to use WeChat and Alipay for everything, and it's just integrated in. You just have to put in the code, put in your password or just, put your thumbprint and you buy something, and it's just having to learn a different system. It's really not that much of a hassle, but it's when you're used to it being so convenient, it becomes a hassle. Another thing that you kind of mentioned is that there are still a lot of differences between like the Western and the Chinese influencer industry, and I would love to hear what you think are some of the bigger differences.
Well, for Chinese KOLs, bloggers, vloggers, whatever, we don't get paid off our views, if that make any sense. Like if you're a YouTuber, you kind of get paid off your views because everyone who watches your video has to like get through that like advertisement like several little seconds, and that makes you money. So as Chinese bloggers, we largely depend on sponsorship. Our income largely depends on our sponsorship, and most vloggers doesn't have the patience to wait for like a good sponsorship, or like they don't have enough brands reaching out to them, so they decide to open up their own shop, which is kind of rare for Western bloggers because first of all, it's not like easy to just have your brand or have your shop when you're like not in China, but here in China it's very easy. So that's been really different. Bloggers, they can open up their own shop, and this can be their steady income.
Yeah, definitely. I see that happening more and more, and some of these bloggers who have their own stores are getting huge. Are you do you have your own store, or are you considering getting your own store?
I don't have my own store because I don't know. This is funny because I always consider myself a content creator. I'm not like, I just see myself as the store owner because I love producing content. I love to go out there and like experience new stuff and like do the productions. I love editing. I love present people. Like there's something that is not like you can see it, but you can't touch it. But when you sell something online, I feel like it's just not something I'm passionate about doing, at least for now.
Yeah,
I feel like
maybe if you get a really good idea, you'd consider it, but just nothing is really speaking to you at the moment.
Because for bloggers, it's like when you open up your own shop, you have your old followers. And the reason why they were following you because you were creating content for them. You keep them interested. But once you have your own shop, all your focus and all your energy is going to go to the shop. You're going to have to like take pictures and set up the shop and like take care of a lot of like fuzzy stuff. And you kind of lose your time and inspiration to use more content. So you don't keep your followers happy or nor interested in you, but you still want them to buy your stuff. So your following is not gonna grow so much after you have your shop because you don't have like really new content to post. All you post is your store. So it's kind of a vicious cycle because your followers at the beginning, yeah, they'll buy a couple things from you, but like with time, they kind of they can't buy those things from anywhere anyways. So
right, you really have to like get a team and be coming out with new products all the time, and you really have to go all in on the store.
I've seen so many bloggers fail on their shop when they start their shop, when they have about, I don't know, like 50,000 followers, because a lot of Chinese bloggers, they don't know what they're doing. Like, they don't see the future. They don't see like big brands reaching out to find them everywhere and just produce content. They don't see this side. They feel like, oh my God, I finally have like 50,000 followers. Let me just sell something to them so I can make money.
Right. So they're too impatient and they want to monetize right away, and they don't see they should just wait.
Exactly. No one teach them how to like be a blogger, if that makes any sense, because a lot of like KOLs or like what we say Wang Hong, it's like they just took off out of like nowhere for no reason. Like they never planned on doing blogging as a job. They just didn't know the business side of this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's related to the fact that this industry has taken off so quickly in China. I think here in the US, it's still a little bit like that, but I think you can search online, and there's a lot of people teaching you, how to grow a following, how to work with brands. Like you can look for all of this information because it's been around for so long that there's people writing about it and talking about it. But I feel like in China, it's not as open, and it's it can be very confusing to a lot of, like you said, to new people, and maybe they're not very professional. They don't really know how to deal with the business side of being an influencer.
Right.
Got it.
And also I feel like because blogging, being a KOL is so new in China, the system of working with brands is still like not so good. Because most of the brands these days, if they're looking for a KOL to do a promotional video or like a post or something, they tend to give this opportunity to like a PR company who has most of the KOL resources. Like the brand will not reach out to them themselves, and which creates kind of like the brand doesn't have the quality control, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And also just maybe I think for sure the brand, like even the same brand, let's say Lancome, they in the Chinese market, they just don't care about the bloggers that much. They will do it because it's like new and they want to make their event, or they want to make this new product or this event to look more full, if that makes any sense. They'll have the traditional media, they'll have some bloggers over, they'll do some live streaming. They just do because it's easy for them to do. They're not really trying to make money off like bloggers' followers or something like that.
Oh, that's interesting. Why do you think that is? Like they don't feel like it's like bloggers are very influential?
In my opinion, first of all, like, as I said, blogging is so new here. Even brands, they don't know really like, oh, what's this blogger's following? It's like how old are they, or like what's their buying ability, or like are they really gonna buy our product? Like they didn't have the time to research for a specific blogger because they don't even work with them. Let this PR agency to work with them. So it kind of lost in translation, sort of. They just don't really care if the blogger's followers actually buying our product, but they'll have the blogger over because it looks good in pictures and stuff.
That's interesting. I mean, I definitely agree that sometimes because they're working through agencies, there's a lot of messaging that gets lost in translation and they don't know all the details and everything. But it always just, it surprises me because it's like, you're spending money on this. Like, don't you want to know where that money's going?
Yeah.
Like, it just shocks me, I guess. You know,
and that's the thing doing branding in China. No one really works for the brand. Like, no one really works for the brand. Like, they just trying to spend the money and get things done and call it a day.
So you think maybe some of the people who work for these brands and work for the PR companies, like they're just trying to get their task like over with. It's not like they actually care what happens with the brand at the end of the day, you know? Okay.
And also, I feel like for some of the international, especially like high-end brands, they don't want to work with Chinese bloggers because Chinese bloggers kind of have this bad reputation about like being materialistic, being like not so high-end looking, if that makes any sense, because a lot of the KOLs, they literally just point their selfie camera at themselves and like say nothing and just like posing, sort of. Like, if you're a high-end brand, you don't really necessarily want that, even if this person has. But I would say the brand doesn't really know the Chinese market all that well. Well, for bloggers at least, like they don't know like the top list of bloggers and who can produce content, who can do this, who can do that. They still have this image of Chinese blogger just being very unprofessional and being low end.
Right. And even though maybe there are a lot of them that are like that, there are definitely some really amazing influencers that have come out over the past few years. So I think they definitely need to kind of revisit that and take another look. How are brands reaching you? You said, you know, are they just messaging you? Are they going through these PR companies? Like, how does that work for you?
For me, I would say these days, most of my the brands that I work with, I either get their contact through a friend or I meet them at like events and stuff. For me, because I'm producing lifestyle content at the moment, so a lot of the brands that work with are based in Beijing, and I can basically see them, sort of. But in terms of like beauty or fashion brands, sometimes I write them an email, sometimes they DM me like on Weibo or on Meipai, whatever, or on Instagram. So yeah, most of the brands, when they reach out to me, they tend to just DM me. Okay. This is like the easiest way in China, because working with email is not part of the culture here.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. How often, like these days, how often are you posting content? Is it every day or a couple times a week, or?
My recent project is called Mulan 2.0. Project is a body transformation project. So in 6 weeks, I post 12 videos just on this project. So I'll post like about two videos a week on this fitness nutrition project. And other than that, I post like hauls and stuff. So on a weekly basis, I post about 3 to 4 videos and some pictures from here and there and other stuff as well. Like, just
lots of it, lots of content.
It is a lot of content. It's a lot of work.
Are you, I know you said you started out on Meipai. Besides Meipai, what other platforms are you trying to grow an audience on? And is Meipai still your strongest platform?
Yes, Meipai is still my strongest platform. I always wanted to grow my YouTube, but I kind of just didn't do it because, it's very, I want to attract more international brands, but on YouTube, it's like a whole different system. I feel like with my own, with just my own, it's kind of hard, but I always wanted to grow my YouTube. And for now, I'm not, I tried to grow my Weibo as well, but in terms of other platform that I'm not on at the moment, I don't really care per se to grow my following on them.
Mm-hmm. Have you been doing any live stream, or do you mainly just do video content?
I will do live streaming if a brand asks for it. Like, if I have to cover a event and they be like, I'll do a vlog, do a live streaming and pictures, whatever, we'll give you this price, I'll do it. But like on myself, if I'm just by myself, I don't really like to live stream because it really is, it's me, because I have pretty bad eyesight. It's really hard for me to read comments on the screen.
Yeah.
And I have to make all these funny faces comments. And also, I feel like I enjoy doing production more. I like when I can produce like a 1-minute video or like 3-minute video and people will be like watching it from the beginning to the end instead of just hanging with me, like listening to me like real time. Because I feel like I don't want to waste your time. And if you're like watching me live streaming for an hour, it's a lot of time wasted on me.
Mm-hmm. You'd rather give them a story that you've like tightly edited.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's interesting because I think you're staying true to you and the type of content that you like to put out, as opposed to, there's a lot of people that are just going for the newest trend because they think that maybe that could help them get more fans or more views and things like that. But it seems like for you, what works best is doing what you like to do best, as far as like the type of content. Yeah. So who are your followers? Can you describe them?
My followers, most of them are girls. Like I would say like 90% of them, they're girls. And 2 age group that is very strong on my following is one is girls are younger than me, like maybe from 13 to 18. And the other age group would be like 25 plus, sort of like they're like young moms. Mm-hmm. And like in between, there's some, but not as many. So either you're kind of like you're in school, you would like pull out my videos and watch it during lunch break, or you're like hot mom. You don't do nothing, like really, you just hang around the house and take care of your baby, and you watch my videos and like shop.
Okay. So you think that maybe a lot of people kind of in between that are just too busy to be pulling out social media and watching videos.
If you're like working 9 to 5, you don't really have time even to watch a 4-minute video.
Right.
And you have to social, you have to like go to work, you have to like finish your task, whatever. And you might buy stuff, like, but you're not going to depend on a blogger's recommendation to buy like the trendy clothes or like makeup and stuff.
And now it's time for this week's Parklu Influencer Marketing Insights. From 2010 to 2015, online spending on mommy baby goods and products increased nearly tenfold, from 18.7 billion RMB in 2010 to 165 billion RMB in 2015. With the end of the one-child policy and increasing government support for millennial moms, China's huge mommy-baby industry is set to see even more growth in the next 5 years. Though the current opportunities for brands lie in 3rd and 4th tier cities, the mommy-baby markets in these cities is growing incredibly fast. Because the industry is still developing, market leaders in those cities are yet to be defined. The markets in Beijing, Shanghai, and other first-tier cities are massive, but more mature and harder to penetrate. Chinese moms are very vocal about their product preferences and are likely to share their experiences on social media. When they find a good product, over 84% of mothers will recommend it to others. Similarly, when these mothers encounter bad products, over 84% will complain, often posting on WeChat moments or in WeChat groups. This is a very unique opportunity to really look at customers as brand advocates. Collaborations with mommy-baby influencers can be an excellent way for brands to break through the noise. We've created a special piece of content highlighting 5 different types of mommy-baby influencers for social media marketing to millennial Chinese moms. You can find more about this information on ChinaInfluencerMarketing.com/Parklu. Enjoy the rest of the podcast.
What do you think makes you different, or what do you think your fans like about you compared to other fashion lifestyle influencers?
I think there are many reasons. First of all, me being myself is very important. Like, to be as authentic as possible. Like, I don't try to be this person I'm not, like, in front of camera, even though I know like it'll look kind of better, more polished, whatever, but I try to keep it true to myself. So my followers can be feeling like they're connected to me, they feel relatable, and they start to consider me as a friend instead of thinking that I'm this fake internet person. And yeah, another reason is because this might be strange, but it's because of my face. I just look different. Like, people like to look at me because I look like no one else in China.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely one of the things that stood out to me, is that I think in China there's this very set style of like set beauty standard, you know, especially among like influencers. You know, there's like the Wang Hong Lian, like, you know, it's just the pointy, the skinny face and the, you know, the white skin and everything. And I feel like you are not trying to like conform to those beauty standards.
Make myself, like, I stay. This is part of me staying true to myself. Like, I never done any plastic surgery on my face, and like, I just think I want to keep being natural, because I do put quite a lot of makeup on sometimes, but I just feel like beauty is about enhancing yourself, not being someone you're not. So I think that's definitely part of the reason why I'm a different from other bloggers and why my followers like me so much, because I just try to enhance myself instead of changing myself. And also, I think, I'm sorry, what was your question again? Why am I different, or why my followers like me?
A little bit of both. Like, what do you think it is about you that they are drawn to? Okay.
And also because I used to work for Harper's Bazaar, I made a lot of connections through Harper's Bazaar. Like, I have the first access to events that maybe not all bloggers are invited to, and I'm invited to like these party and interesting things, so it keeps my content going strong. So they have something to like look forward to and to watch. If you're a blogger living in like third-tier city, you don't even have like events and party to go. Like, you have to sit in your bedroom every single day to post videos. I think eventually your followers will get bored of that as well. But I'm always moving around. I'm always like going to like different things and like to see different things and produce different content. That's definitely something like special about my channel.
Right. Your followers can kind of live vicariously through you. So, I mean, because you said you used to live in New York and Canada. Would you ever consider like moving back abroad, or do you think you need to stay in Beijing in order to continue being an influencer?
Well, actually, this question wasn't even like a question for me until like recently, because I kind of got a job offer in the States and it has nothing to do with blogging. So I go back and forth, but not for the blogging purpose. Yeah. And my boyfriend's American. Like, eventually I have to like kind of move to America, but
do you think that I mean, I think, because I know that there are some, I mean, somebody else that I had interviewed on the podcast, she's a Chinese like fashion lifestyle influencer living in New York City. So I definitely think that the more that the market is working with Chinese influencers, I think maybe the location will start to matter less.
Well, for me, I don't think it's the location that doesn't matter. I think it's two different business model. For me, because I'm doing lifestyle, I have to cover a lot of the parties and events in China. All my resources are in Beijing. All my connections are here. So like the amount of content I can produce, it really largely depends on these connections and these access. So if I live in New York, it will be a totally different business model, because everything I do in New York, it will be different for people here. They don't get to see a Chinese person living in New York. They don't know what it's like to like take subways with rats flying around. It will be something for them to see. I don't and these access and connections to get into all these parts live, and they'll still be interested. For me, that's just two different business models, sort of.
Gotcha. I have a quick question. When you are going to a lot of these events, are you getting like paid as a blogger to go to these events, or do you just mostly go to them for free because it's like interesting content and you can make more connections?
I would say half of them, I go there. They don't pay me or anything. I just go there because it's good content, and I get to make more connections and see my friends. Some of them, if it's like a brand press release or like something to do with like a new product, they tend to pay the transportation fare, sort of. Like they give you not so much money, be like a sponsorship, or like make you do like a sponsor video. It's more like, okay, like I pay for your taxi and like come to our event.
Right, yeah, more
And,
like similar to like what they would pay the media, like a normal member of the media, yeah.
Because I used to work for Harper's Bazaar, some brands still consider me as part of the media, like part, sort of, because not all of them invite bloggers for like press release or like an exclusive launching or something like that. So
right,
and also they're just events that I get paid to be there, like blog. They wanted me to put out content for the brand specifically.
Okay, so it depends. Got it. Because you do attend a lot of events. I mean, it sounds like for most of the events, or not most, but for many of the events, you said they kind of just invite influencers because they think it'll look good for the pictures. So what do you think like brands could be doing better as far as like working with influencers when they invite them to events? Like how could they improve that?
Well, first of all, I think the brand definitely should do their research on bloggers, like what type of content she posts, or like what is her following like, and maybe cutting off the PR agency. Just the brand can talk to the blogger like by themselves. That would definitely help. And also, I think the brand should not only find the quality bloggers, but realize that the KOL actually very important, and they have a lot of influence on consumers these days, and place their like value more, if that makes any sense, instead of largely depend on traditional media and magazines. Like they should see that bloggers are actually important. That'll definitely improve.
Okay. So you think maybe sometimes they're not really inviting the correct, like the appropriate bloggers for the event. They're kind of just relying on the PR company.
Yeah, I definitely understand. You don't want some like 17-year-old like just to be like kind of like not behaving herself just to get followers, just to like make people watch her. But at the same time, like you kind of have to realize that actually works. But maybe like just do everything not so extreme, sort of like invite some good ones, and that should be cool. Of course they want to make their money back, so they had like a lot of booths in the event, so you literally feel like you're like walking in a supermarket. There were like people like selling stuff there.
Wow.
Like
companies?
I just
like other
like
brands?
Yeah, other brands. Like there was this yogurt brand. There's this like pocket translator. It's just like completely completely not relevant to Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
And I just think that was so chaotic, and that was definitely not a good experience. And I'm the type of person, like if I decide to go to an event, I will always dress up to the dress. I respect the dress code, but sometimes in China, it's like it's hard for people to follow the dress code, especially if you ask them, "I'll dress in pink." If they don't have pink, they're just not gonna do it. But like I feel like for event, like if you organize an event, you have to kind of think out for the people who are gonna come. So like don't make something like, oh, dress in like platinum, like be futuristic. Not everyone's gonna do that. So have some control over your like KOLs, or like so they don't have to be like all chaotic and dress in like sneakers and like sweatpants and stuff like that. That is just so chaotic, and they had like weird dress code.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like they whoever organized it might have been a little bit more used to doing Western style events, because I feel like here, maybe in the US and some other countries, we're kind of used to that, like, during college, and there's a lot of like themed parties, we're kind of okay with like, oh, there's a theme, so if I don't have the right stuff for it, like I'll run to the store and I'll buy a fun little headband or some ears or something, and I'll put some effort into like dressing up to the theme. But I feel like that's not really something that a lot of Chinese people might do, because they're afraid of like, well, what if I dress up and everybody else doesn't dress up, and then I'll look silly, so I'll just wear my normal clothes, and so sounds like there's a little bit of that inexperience going on. Okay, so I just want to wrap up by talking about some of your predictions for the future. So do you think, as far as like the influencer industry or Chinese social media platforms, what are some like trends that you see maybe happening this coming year in 2018?
Well, I think definitely more and more international brands want to have a tighter relationship with Chinese bloggers. And for the bloggers themselves, they kind of like, they have to have their special ways to attract followers. Like these days, if you're just pretty, if you're have a face, that's not gonna you a lot of followers, like get your followers interested. You have to be able to produce different type of content. So actually it's getting more and more competitive, and for the bloggers to produce different type of content and keep the followers interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I think the space is definitely maturing, and it's getting harder for new people to kind of break into the industry, and there's a lot of people that, are kind of being weeded out, like the people that aren't creating as good content or just not finding as much success as they were maybe a year or two ago. Would you agree with that?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Do you have any specific plans for the coming year, or any special projects coming up that you would like to share?
Yes, I will definitely be doing more fitness related content. The Mulan 2.0 project really got me into this working out, like eating healthy mode. I've been a vegetarian for years, but like before, I kind of have this bad eating habit. Like I wasn't eating, I was always starving because I need to be like on set, I need to shoot this video or something like that. So like definitely in this past 6 weeks, I really got like good at eating and working out, and I really like the feel of being active. And
do you think your fans and followers are also really interested in like the fitness content?
Yes, they are very interested in the fitness content, because this is something they actually be doing with me. Because if you watch my makeup tutorials, like you can't be looking like me, because you don't look like me. Like you don't have my face. And a lot of the stuff like I wear, like it's not super wearable for most of the girls in China. And for fashion, it's the same. Like a lot of the stuff I can wear because I have the occasion to wear it, and I kind of I don't have to do like I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I can wear whatever I want, but you can't. But for like travel, it's like not everyone's available to travel. Just take it and go. You have to do your visa, you have to take days off work. But like for fitness, you can actually do it with me. Like it doesn't require you to have a lot of money or a lot of time. You can just watch my videos and do it with me. So they feel really relatable. Like some of the problems I was having, a lot of young girls have the same problem, and they're looking forward to solve this type of problem. So my fitness videos, they're actually really popular.
That's super interesting. I hadn't thought about that before, as far as the relatability of the content.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. Well, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that? Is it through Meipai or WeChat? How should they do that?
The easiest way to get in touch with me is to send an email to my business email, which would be the Mulan Show at outlook.com.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I know that we've had a lot of connection problems, but I think you shared some really, really interesting insights, and I just think that people are going to be really excited to hear this content. Hi, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Adrianna. You can find links to all of her social media channels and her contact information in the show description or in the show notes on chinainfluencermarketing.com. As usual, before you go, I want to share a couple of my key takeaways from this episode. I think the feeling that I got from speaking with Adrianna is that while there has been a lot of progress over the past couple of years within the influencer marketing industry, there is still a lot more that brands can be doing to create relationships and find the value in influencer marketing. It seems like many brands still don't know how to properly work with influencers, and they are leaving too many important decisions up to third-party companies or local teams that might not really care about the brand. Like Adrianna says in the interview, they're just trying to spend the money, get things done, and call it a day. She also kept touching on the fact that because the industry is so new and there are still many unprofessional influencers, that has given Chinese influencers a bad rap. But in fact, there are many high-quality Chinese influencers. You just have to look for them. And this is totally not an ad. They didn't ask me to do this, but the show's sponsor, Park Lu, is really good at that. They are quite stringent about the quality of the KOLs that they allow on their platform. So working with someone like them can help you filter out a lot of the unprofessional KOLs and get some high quality work. The last point I want to make is to understand local culture when planning events in China. Adrianna mentions that weird dress codes and costume parties might not work in China, unless maybe it's a cosplay conference. Companies could provide props and accessories at the party if they want people to dress up. Otherwise, people might just show up in anything they want. So that's it for my takeaways, and I'd love to hear what you thought of the episode. You can leave me a comment on chinainfluencermarketing.com. And if you like this episode and know somebody else who might like it too, please don't forget to share. Thanks, and talk to you next week.